Tonight's guest stands astride an empire of enterprises and achievements. Skilled in many facets of the musical world, he owned his own record company by the time he was 25. And when he shifted gears to writing and performing his own work, his albums soared to the top of the charts, earning him 9 Grammy nominations and 3 Grammy Awards as producer, writer, and performer. Turning his attention to the craft of acting, he has explored the worlds of theater, film, and television in ventures as varied as Made, Monsters Ball, Carlito's Way, the Emmy-nominated A Raisin in the Sun, and Get Him to the Greek. His restless nature has led him to the world of fashion, where his Sean John clothing line has received numerous Designer of the Year nominations and won the award in 2004. He was named one of the 100 most influential people of 2006 by Time magazine. You will find his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I'm happy to say that tonight you will find him here. The Actors Studio is proud to welcome Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, and most important, Sean Combs. We begin, as always, at the beginning. Where were you born, Sean?
I was born in Harlem, New York.
And what is your mother's name?
My mother's name is Janice.
You said about your mother, she was always like the fly girl of the neighborhood. Is that how you remember her when you were a kid?
Yes, definitely. She was always, wearing furs and, dressing very glamorously. When she would leave, I would be trying on things, looking in the mirror, trying to just mimic her. But I was trying on my clothes. I wasn't trying.
What was your father's name?
My father's name was Melvin Combs.
How old were you when your father died?
I was 3 years old.
Can you remember him at all?
And anytime I would dream about him throwing me up in the air. And that's the only memory I have of him.
How was his death reported to you? What did they tell you had happened?
My mother, first of all, is a very protective mother. She didn't tell me the whole truth. She told me that he died in a car accident.
How old were you when you learned the truth, the full truth?
As I was growing up, I was bumping into a lot of different street cats in the neighborhood, and they were always, saying, I knew your father, I knew your father. And, if my bike got stolen, my bike would come back 2 minutes later, I went to the library, and you could go through the microfilm, and I searched my father's name, and it came up that, they had called him a kingpin, in Harlem, and that he was killed, in Central Park West. He had got shot in his head, so that's how I found out about my father.
Ooh. Have you ever found out precisely what happened, why he was killed?
The bottom line is that, if you choose that life, there's only one outcome, jail or death, and that's the life that he chose.
During the past 6 years, alongside the roster of vanished fathers, we've encountered an honor roll of mothers who have stepped in and done what they had to do. I wonder if you would do us the honor of introducing your mother to our students.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce my mother, Janice Combs.
Well, that stuff he said about the glamour, he wasn't lying, was he?
I want y'all to check out the shoes if y'all could see them in the front row.
That's it. Amazing. What were the primary jobs that you did to support your family?
I did so many jobs at one time. I worked at the United Cerebral Palsy. I worked at the Board of Ed in Westchester County. I drove the school bus. I worked in the baby's boutique shop. And he never knew this. I worked in the after-hour spot, too. I have to come clean. I needed to come clean.
Okay, now. Okay.
I made more money because the men thought I was very glamorous, and I used to pour liquor, and they'd give me big tips. And that's how I was able to educate my children, because education was very, very important to me.
Weren't you saving to buy a house?
Yes,
Where did you buy the house?
in Mount Vernon, New York.
I understand that you kept the children in Harlem for a time.
Yes, I wanted them to have the experience of Harlem, you know, and to be around their culture. And I figured that this was the best place for them to have this education.
I just thank her so much for that. I just want to say thank you, Mom.
So do we. What school did you go to when you were living in Mount Vernon?
I went to a high school called Mount St. Michael's Academy. And my mother, as I said, being very protective, she knew how crazy I was about girls. And education was first, so she made sure there were no girls around, and so I went to an all-boys
It
school.
was also a Catholic school.
Yes, a Catholic school. I was brought up in Catholic schools all of my life.
I got married in a Catholic church, and I'm a Baptist, so I promised that I would raise them as Catholic. So they would go every Sunday. They had day services for 1 hour. In Baptist churches, you're there for about 3-4 hours, you know. So they had the culture from the Catholic and as well as the Baptist.
Yeah, so if you don't understand, I had to go to Catholic church, then I had to go to Baptist church on my Sunday. So that's one of the reasons why the Lord, God, means so much to me, and I give all glory to God. That's something that was brought up in me early by having to go to 2 services every Sunday.
Were you into sports in high school?
Yes, I used to run track and play football, and it was my dream to be a football player.
What position did you play?
Cornerback and running back. And I just knew I was going to be a football player. There's nothing that you could tell me that I wasn't going to be playing in the NFL. My son is in the front row right now. He's a football player, Justin.
May we meet your son?
Yeah, stand up, Justin. My last year of high school, you know, the year that scouts come to see you, and my last day at camp, I broke my leg. If your leg was broken, you're out for the season, good luck. And it broke my heart. And I had to learn at a young age that, you know, things happen. And sometimes your dreams get deferred, but you don't have to give up your dreams. And then that's when I found music.
You and rap were born at the same moment in time, within a few miles of each other.
The Boogie Down Bronx is the home of rap.
You've said I would be 12 years old, and sometimes I'd be out until 3, 4 in the morning, seeing the music.
Yeah.
Seeing the music?
Yeah, this is the time of the 80s, and just everybody driving by in their Suzuki Jeeps and BMWs, and the music blasting out of systems, and being in front of Willie Burgers on 145th and 8th, or being at the rooftop. It was like a movie. You could actually see the music. The music came to life. It wasn't just something you were hearing.
Were you aware of his nighttime skirmishes?
James, we don't have to get into that right now.
There are no secrets on this stage. There are no secrets on this stage. Ma'am?
Got a lot of beatings too. But he was with some relatives of mine.
I see.
When he was out, so I didn't know that they kept him out that late. I'm learning about it now.
I think I got you in trouble with your mother. All these years later.
Yeah.
When and how did you acquire the name Puffy?
It's a nickname that I've never revealed, and I'm sorry that I can't reveal it today. I gave somebody my word I would not tell y'all.
Okay.
To that, so.
When did you add the daddy, Puff Daddy?
Oh man, I got my son in the front row, but I was just into girls at a young age, and it was just a nickname that they used to call me. And
Is daddy synonymous with playa?
yeah. There you go. This guy's good. I just need to get to my mother about the after-hours spot. I didn't know that.
When you graduated from Mount St. Michael's, was college automatically on the schedule?
Yes, I always had a dream to go to college. That was always my mother's dream. So, you know, I went to Howard University, HU in the house.
What was your major?
My major was business.
Why business?
After the whole tragedy with me in football, I decided I was going to be a businessman.
Did you sort of go into business while you were at Howard with what you're promoting parties?
Yeah. Like the third day on campus, I decided that I was going to be the director of entertainment for Howard University. I didn't notify my mother or anybody else of that, but you know, I was a hustler. That's what I was kind of known for. And so I would go to class, and I was engaged in school, and I could pick up things quickly. So I was able to pass school with a B average. By my second year, I was probably making, you know, $5,000 a week at Howard University. And living in a
Did you say $5,000 a week?
Yeah, $5,000 a week, living in a duplex, you know, a car. Like, I was the director of entertainment for Howard, and Howard needed a lot of entertainment.
Didn't they also have an internship policy?
No. That's kind of what I told my mother in order to do an internship. There's a lot of bending the truth that I think we're going to reveal here today, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't call it lies, it's a little bending of the truth. I said, Mom, at Howard, you have to have an internship if you're really doing it. And, you know, I had this opportunity to work for this up-and-coming record company, Uptown Records, but I have to work for free, and I have to take 2 days off from school. I have to take the train from New York to D.C. every Thursday. And she was like, are you out of your mind? You know? And I was kind of trying to really sell her that this was my dream and my vision. If you saw me, you was gonna see me with a mansion behind me. You was gonna see me flying and jumping off a cliff. There was nothing I couldn't do.
Who was your guide at Uptown Records?
A guy named Andre Harrell.
How long did it take you to rise to a vice presidency at Uptown?
I would say from the time I was an intern to the vice president was less than 5 years.
And you had some important signings.
Yeah, a young lady by the name of Mary J. Blige. And a group by the name of Jodeci.
Right. And you were credited at that time with developing a very successful sound that would be known as hip-hop soul.
Yes.
What is that precisely?
It was really experimenting with the sound that I was hearing on our mixtapes. From Kid Capri and Love Bug Starsky. They would take these break beats and they would put them underneath like Anita Baker, Angela Winbush, or Shaka Khan, and it would blend the records together. It was a style of mixing like the hardest hip-hop beats underneath a beautiful, soulful voice. I had started a label, Bad Boy Records, and it was a lot of attention because I was so young. And I started to like feel myself and kind of get caught up because I went from making no money to actually having a lawyer and accountant and, you know, like $2 million in the bank and all of the famous movies of any rock and roll star or any actor that gets it so quick. I kind of lost myself for a second. And, you know, but I had always loved...
What do you mean you lost yourself for a second?
I'm talking about the way that I would act and the way that I would carry myself and the way that I was treating other people that I was working with. You know, I knew that I was the star of the team, and just like so many stars make that mistake. I had got bit by this drug that had like drove me crazy. It wasn't the way I was brought up. It was just maybe things I saw or the ways I thought I should act when I get it. But I had to learn carefully. I had to learn quickly.
You've said about Uptown Records, it became a situation where it was two kings in one castle. And it was his castle, that's Harrell's. Mm-hmm. So I found myself in the moat, huh?
When I got fired, that's when I really learned who I was, because I was brokenhearted, because I had really disappointed this man. I had disappointed everybody around me, and I disappointed myself. I really loved the music, and you know, I loved what it represented, and it helped me to get back to that. Me being fired at that early age was the best thing that ever happened to me.
When you left Uptown, you took an artist with you.
Yes.
Who was that?
Notorious B.I.G.
What had you seen and heard in Notorious B.I.G.?
There was something about Biggie when he spoke. It was like, it was connected to a truth that I had never felt before. And it was also connected to a certain intellect of like metaphors and rhymes that it had never been done before, like the sound of his voice, the way he rhymed, the passion in which supported it. It was what greatness sounded like.
Is it true that Biggie never wrote his lyrics down?
it kind of worked for him not to write it down. But it was like mind-blowing because, you know, rappers were known for having, used to be how many notebooks of rhymes do you have? When I walked in the studio and I didn't see the paper, it made me nervous. I'm like, come on, you ain't working? You know, and he was like, it's all in his head. But what it really translated to be that it was all in his heart.
Oh. It's a moment for full disclosure. I happen to be a professional rapper. When Sacha Baron Cohen came to me as Ali G, he was my beatbox and he challenged me to freestyle a rap. A few months ago, I was glancing at my ASCAP royalty statement and discovered that I had earned $1.35 in Denmark from my Ali G rap.
It's good.
Now, I'm not suggesting it makes me a player, but goddammit, it makes me a rapper.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's right. That's right. Would you please do me the honor of spitting a 16 for us, please? Would y'all like to hear him?
But I have no beatbox, unless...
I got you. I'll do it for you. You ready?
Here I stand on the streets of the city, rapping away with my man P. Diddy. Never gonna falter, never gonna stop, running my lip with my own hip-hop.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Go a cappella, go.
and maybe with this nifty, shifty ploy, I'll be the next Sean Combs bad boy.
Give it up, give it up. My man. I think you have earned the honor of player. I will call you player
Really?
from now on. Go ahead, player. Go ahead, player.
That may be the greatest gall I've ever had in my life. We've arrived at the birth of gangster rap. What made it so quickly and broadly appealing?
It was a frustration that was going on inside the inner city where we weren't really getting offered jobs and the only people that we saw successful were gangsters, were street hustlers, and you know, survival. It was survival of the fittest.
Increasingly, some might say inevitably, the rap stars' lives began to mirror the song's lyrics and vice versa. What were you witness to on March 9th, 1997?
That was the day that Biggie got killed.
Weren't you nearby in a car?
Yes, I was in a car right in front of him. I kind of felt he was going as soon as I got to the car and I touched him, you know, to be honest, because he was so full of life. You talking about like totally lifeless, you know, when I got to the car.
How did you deal with the loss of him?
You know, I didn't deal with it too well. I went into like a real strong state of depression, and I didn't really know how to deal with it. The only thing I felt like I could do was I felt like I could make a record. I just wanted to express how I felt. That was one of the things I thank God for, having music in my life and being able to express myself, because I don't know how I would have made it out that situation. You know, with all my faith, I was just like in shock and stuck. And so I made a record called Missing You.
How is a rap song created? Do you start with an idea, with specific words?
There has to be something to ignite the idea. Sometimes it could come from just an idea that you have lyrically, or it could come from a piece of music. It could come from just walking down the street. That's the beauty of music, is that it really does reflect your life.
Do you have a hand in writing the music videos?
Yes. You know, conceptually, that's always been one of my strengths, coming up with the concepts.
Come With Me contains a symphony orchestra in white formal wear. Some of your videos contain the kind of recurring images we customarily meet in dreams.
Yeah. A lot of people may have kind of put on me being responsible for glorifying money or glorifying some excess. But to me, it wasn't glorifying excess, it was a dream. It was living outside of the reality of the inner city, of the things that we were seeing. If I was talking about mansions and yachts and the finest champagnes and wines and diamonds, it was just my way of telling the truth of that dream that we all had in our head as we was out there working and hustling. I always wanted to show us like how they showed the movie stars. I always wanted, if you saw me, you was gonna see me with a mansion behind me. You was gonna see me flying and jumping off a cliff. There was nothing I couldn't do. You know, I wasn't gonna let you show me the way you thought I should be shown.
You dance in Diddy, and in I Need a Girl from your album, We Invented the Remix.
Yes.
Our students begin many of their days at the Alvin Ailey Dance Center. Since we're an educational institution, and since I had the gall to rap before, I wonder if you would do us the honor of busting a move.
All right, you have some music? You have music?
Yeah, let's hear the music. Look at that joy.
Thank you very much. I know you may think that I'm gonna be polarized and I'm gonna take this your shot to win an Oscar, but I said I'm gonna help you win the Oscars. I'm gonna be believable.
When Queen Latifah was with us, she said that Latifah was a character, and she thought of herself as Dana Owens. Jennifer Lopez told us she felt the same way about J-Lo. Both spoke of their professional personas in the third person, not I, but she. You've had a number of names. Mm-hmm. Is there any separation between you and them?
Yeah, there's definitely a separation. I mean, as a matter of fact, nobody's ever asked me that question. You know, like, at home, I'm Sean Combs. Like, I'm very soft-spoken, and I'm also very quiet. And a lot of people, when they think of Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, I do have multiple personalities as an artist, and also as a person, you know. But there is a difference between that and Sean Combs.
The arrival of the millennium marked several new paths for you. Of particular interest to our students, and to me, you embarked on an entirely new career in acting. What made you decide to go in that direction?
I had always been fascinated with the art of storytelling. If you listen to my music as a producer, it's very cinematic. The interludes and movie type of scores were always things that interweaved and intertwined into my music in a plot and a storyline and different acts. I was getting offered all of the different movie roles that you get as a rapper or somebody that has a community, a large community that will come to the theaters and they try to exploit that. I wanted to go more the independent film route. And I heard about this film called Monsters Ball that Lee Daniels was putting together that was gonna star Heath Ledger, Billy Bob Thornton, and Halle Berry. I had went up for the role and I got turned down. I couldn't even audition for the role. And I started working with Susan Batson, and you know, Susan instills in you don't take no for an answer. She was like, that's your role. That's your role to get. They just don't know. They have this stereotype of you. If I was you, you got a jet, right? You need a jet and go down there and tell Halle Berry and Lee Daniels that you want this role. I jumped on the plane and then I knocked on Halle's door and at a hotel, and she was like, what you doing here? I was like, give me 5 minutes. Do you remember when people just looked at you as you was just a pretty face, remember in Strictly Business, and nobody would give you that chance? I know you may think that I'm gonna be polarized and I'm gonna take this your shot to win an Oscar, but I said, I'm gonna help you win the Oscars. I'm gonna be believable, you know? I said, just give me the chance. I got to read for the part the next day, and then they gave me the part.
In the picture, he plays a condemned man. who is on his way to electrocution. Roger Ebert called it the best movie of the year. Here, Lawrence, his character, says goodbye to his son.
I want to give you all my drawings, all my clothes.
The ultimate challenge for any actor is the stage. Some actors never take that risk. You have, with the challenging role of Walter Lee Younger in Lorraine Hansberry's groundbreaking play, A Raisin in the Sun. How did this project come to you?
I heard about it through Susan Batson. She was one of the only people that had believed in me.
The name Susan Batson has come up on our stage before. She's a member of the Actors Studio. She's a protege of its artistic director, Lee Strasberg, and of Harold Klerman, who was one of my teachers. She has, I'm proud to say, taught workshops in our school. And I have the honor of introducing my colleague from the Actors Studio to these students. This is Susan Batson. You published a book. What is it called?
It's called Truth.
No surprise.
No. And by the way, this is my joy in working with Sean. My son insisted that I worked with Sean. I got a call from his office, and I thought, oh, no.
You poor fellow.
No. No way. No Puff Daddy, nothing. No. I'm not doing it. And my son said, this is an artist of substance, Mom. You have to go. You have to go meet him. And when I met him, he said to me, if you think this is not something I really can do, that I can seriously, really, really do, let's stop right now. And we went through a process, and his truth was phenomenal to me. I mean, I could not believe that. And I sit here, and I have to say, I'm so impressed with you. I know all the other stories and blah, 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 blah. But I see you sit here, and I see you giving of yourself. And I'm so grateful that people get an opportunity to meet him on this turf, because it really gives you an opportunity, I swear to you, to really see what he is made of. He's made of something very, very, very special.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Was it the plan from the beginning to transfer the stage production of Raisin to the screen?
No, to my knowledge, that wasn't the plan. The play was the second highest grossing non-musical in Broadway history.
Right.
So because of that, and because, everybody won Tony Awards. I didn't win one, but my... which is cool. I got a long way to go. I call myself the good luck charm. At least I know if you a woman and you're gonna play against me, you're gonna win an award. That's the way I try to promote myself to get jobs.
A Raisin in the Sun received an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Made-for-Television Movie, and here is one of the reasons why. When Judd Apatow was in that chair a few months ago, Get Him to the Greek lay in His Future and Ours. Now it's here, with you in full cry as record company executive Sergio Roma. Where did you get the character of Sergio? Is it based on anyone?
It's based on a couple of people. If people just read the synopsis, they think that I'm gonna go and be playing myself. And one of the things that Susan taught me is that you have to go deeper. You can't just give people what they want. I really shaped and took pride, and it took me up to this point to really have a breakthrough and really be able to shape and mold a character. I finally had that breakthrough that I pray that you guys one day have, because you work so hard. I worked for going on 12 years, till one day I walked on that set and I just didn't care. I really sat there and I prepared the character, and I thought beyond the lines of the pages, and I didn't just play a record executive. I played this person that was a person. This guy is so tripolar and so fun and so crazy. He's really, really crazy, but he's really in control of everything.
Here's Sergio at work.
Please, people, help me help you. Y'all need to come up with some brilliant ideas right now. One of the things that they discovered is I had a knack for improvisation and writing myself. So mostly everything that you'll see me say in the film is just coming off the top of my head. They really saw that I was best when I have no restrictions. I was so in touch with the characters. I put a little bit of myself in there and like 3 other people that I don't want to expose their names, but people that I've seen act a little crazy in meetings. Even it's a little bit of myself in there, the crazy side of myself. Now the Snow wants to do the show. It's like the hardest dream to have, to be an actor, you know, or even to be a musician, because it's only few are chosen.
In 1998, you founded a clothing line called Sean John. It would be nominated 5 times by the Council of Fashion Designers of America for Menswear Designer of the Year and win that coveted award in 2004. What made you decide to embark on that very challenging path?
There wasn't anything that was truly reflective of the sophistication of the way in which we truly dressed. It was always just a stereotype of what was portrayed out there. Men's fashion didn't have any style or flavor, and I just thought that there was a void in the marketplace for that.
Who designs the line?
Myself and a team of designers.
To whom is your I Am King men's perfume line dedicated?
It's dedicated to all the men out there that are actually stepping up to their responsibilities. A lot of people thought when they first heard it, which I could understand, they thought I was saying I was the king, which I believe I am a king, but I believe that you are a king too.
We begin the classroom session, as always, with the questionnaire that was begun by Proust 100 years ago and carried to its fruition by my hero, Bernard Pivot, in France for 26 years. Sean, what is your favorite word?
Baby.
What is your least favorite word?
Hate.
What turns you on?
A woman's eyes.
What turns you off?
When somebody says they're going to do something and they don't do it.
What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of 30,000 cheering, having a good time.
Yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
Something scratching on something.
Now the question that the world awaits always. What's your favorite curse word?
Motherfucker. That's probably the #1 curse word, right? Motherfucker.
That's number 3.
Oh, okay. What's number 1?
Just
Oh, okay. I'm a motherfucker person myself.
I understand. What profession other than your own would you like to try?
I would love to be a coach of a basketball team, football team, boxer.
What profession would you absolutely not like to participate in?
Being a judge, you know, sending people away.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I've been waiting for you.
Now they're waiting for you. Here are your students. Have a good time.
Let's go.
Hello, Mr. Combs.
Hello.
I'm Rochelle Stocker. I'm a 3rd-year actress. About to graduate in about 3-4 weeks. Nervous. I've trained for 3 years in the method like Susan Basson has trained you. I'm ready. I want it. I'm hungry. What kind of advice could you give?
It's like the hardest dream to have, to be an actor, you know, or even to be a musician, because it's only few are chosen. But you can't let that be a reality. You can't let that fear consume you, and you're so afraid that you start putting in your head that it's not going to happen. It's a certain power about knowing that it's going to happen, willing it to happen, and just seeing that and knowing that you're going to make it happen. You're not going to stop till it happens, and you're going to use a lot of avenues out there. You know how to get it out there. You know how to get it popping. You know how to go out there and do something that ain't nobody else is doing. You may be doing scenes in the middle of Times Square with your hat on it. You got to have the heart and the guts to do what other people won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've cleaned bathrooms, you know, I've washed dishes, and it wasn't really that long ago, you know? And I remember then it wasn't cool to really be doing that, to be cleaning I'm talking about the gasoline station bathrooms. We know those are the nastiest bathrooms. And I had the shiniest gasoline station bathroom in the world, you know. But you know, everything you do is getting your brand out there. Somebody's going to see you, and somebody's going to tell somebody else, and somebody's going to tell somebody else. Somebody knows somebody, so you may be showing your skills to somebody, and they may be that way in. But you can't never stop. You got to get up every day and fight for that dream. You have Lil Wayne as a high level of artistry, and I got a high level of swagger, you know.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Christina Segala. I'm a third-year writer. You seem so fantastically normal to meet you, which is great. And you talk about it making you nervous to act and it like being a big, like really scary for you. But I personally can't imagine anything scarier than being a hip-hop artist. And you never mentioned like where does that swagger come from?
For me, I think that's the thing that makes me different than the other ones, than the rest of the recording artists, is that I got like, you have Jay-Z as a high level of lyricism and musicality, and you have Lil Wayne as a high level of artistry, and I got a high level of swagger, you know. So, it's like with anything, you got to put your best foot forward, you know. If you have something that you believe in, that's a great place to start, you know. And for me, it was my swag and my fearlessness. That's the only way I was able to do Broadway. I'm not really afraid to fail. I'm more afraid to not get the opportunity or to not get the chance than I am to fail.
Thanks.
I wanted to just say one thing before I leave. There's so many things in life that I'm scared about. A lot of people may see me in the public eye. So many things I'm scared about in life every single day. That doesn't change with success. You have to go out there and like face your fears. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much it hurts, you're not gonna get what you want easily. It's gonna be painful. And no matter how much you see any of us have, we all going through something. But y'all are at a very unique point in your lives where you get a chance to be here and experiment and have fun and really learn it from like the greatest and the best. And it's just like, enjoy this process and wake up in the morning and give it your all. You're only gonna get out of life what you put into it. And your courage and y'all being here inspires me, and y'all having me has definitely humbled me. Thank y'all very much.
To learn more about Inside the Actors Studio, go to BravoTV.com.